It's all about make-alongs. Hi, my name is Jana Kay, and welcome to my channel, Flourish, Faith, and Fiber. And this is Flourish Creatively podcast, number 38. And I do think this will be a fairly quick video because I am involved in a few make-alongs, but really concentrated this week on just a few, maybe 3 of them. And so I think the fiber portion is going to be pretty quick, shorter than my usual ones. But before we get started with that, I just want to thank you all for being here. For those of you that are watching my videos, maybe you are new to this channel, and I just appreciate that you have clicked to see what my content, what my videos are all about. From my latest subscribers to my very earliest ones from 2 years ago. I appreciate all of you. And yes, 2 years ago, at the end of September, I put out my first video. Now, I had my channel before that. I don't even know for how many months or years before that, as I was watching other videos. Probably like many people started watching during COVID, and so about 2020 really started watching YouTube and learning from it, and it wasn't until 2022 that I actually uploaded my first video. It's been 2 years, and I really didn't think that I would have so many people subscribe to my channel and watching my videos. And I do really appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Not just saying that. I've been through some changes in my channel, and many of you have stuck with me through them all, and you are greatly appreciated. And if you are new, if this maybe is your first time to watch one of my videos, welcome. And I hope you enjoy the content that I put in my podcast, my Bougie Crochet Wearable series as well, and my Monday devotional shorts that I also put out. So, yeah, really do appreciate you, and excited that I've been through a really great 2-year journey, enjoyed every bit of it. I also want to mention that if you haven't subscribed yet and you do like what you see, please consider subscribing. It's free. It just means that you'll get notified when I do put new videos up, and a thumbs up will help greatly to get my videos out there so that more people who might enjoy the things that I am putting out there about crochet, knitting, the faith part, Bible studies, as well as. So if you like that, yeah, consider subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, and that is also greatly appreciated. Everyone I mentioned and all their websites, YouTube channels, videos, anything will be linked in the description box below. So let's get started. I have a finished object, and so I'll tell you a little bit about it. My one finished object or project is what I did for the hashtag Crochet Through the Decades 2024 crochet along that Litsa at Coco's Crochet has started. She started back in August. We're doing 4 months, and every month is a decade from 1950 to 1980. So August was 1950, September 1960, and this month, October, is 1970s. November will be the last month, the 1980s. And I have finished my 1970s project. Now, I talked quite a bit about it in the last podcast, and I'll put a link up here. But this is the project. I'm going to give you a sneak peek because it's really not time to reveal the project until the end of October. Litsa on her channel does a voting for, she'll show all the projects, all the people that have turned in a project, and you vote based on the project alone, not knowing who the creator, designer, the maker is. And so I can give you a sneak peek, but I can't show you the project until after she puts up her video so that it is all around fair. So I did my project based on, well, I've done all of my projects so far, and we'll do 1980s the same way, based on the color palette that I just Googled for each decade, and one of a favorite fashion accessory. So with those two things in mind, here is a quick sneak peek of my finished project. There you go. That is my sneak peek of my finished project. So I emphasize the avocado. This one is a little, I don't know if you can tell, kind of goldy brown color. The browns, they were quite big in the 70s, along with some orange. But what I did is I bought a variegated yarn from Hobby Lobby. It's I Love This Yarn print, cobblestone something. And I'll put it up here on the screen, the name of the colorway. And it had these colors. There was no real orange in it, and I just didn't add it to my project. So that is my project. You have a guess? Put it in the comments below. Let me know what you think the fashion accessory from the 1970s is that I made. So in a couple of weeks, I will reveal what the project is. As I said, I'm going to wait till Litsa puts up hers, and people have seen it and are voting, and then I will reveal the final project to you. All right, so that is my only finished object. So let's move on to whips. Well, I mentioned in the last podcast that I am joining in with Socktober. It is a make-along that Mariette at De Bourfro puts out every year in October. And this is Socktober 2024. And this is my second year to participate. I am a slow knitter. I try to do like 30 minutes of knitting, and I just am really slow. I'm not one of those that can knit and read a book, or I do watch TV, but I do stop and look up because I have to look at my hands. I look at my hands when I crochet as well. I've missed too many stitches, lost too many stitches, doubled up on too many stitches to not pay attention to my hands. And so sometimes I can listen to audiobooks, or I'll ride in the car, and my husband likes to listen to podcasts, and so then I will knit. But I have started on my second sock, and I've showed this many times, but I will show again. This is the first sock that I made, where I have worked on being able to change yarn. You can kind of see where I changed the colors, so changing yarns. And I have started on my second sock. I am a little more than halfway, I think, through the ribbing. So I'm starting with this green colorway, and it is my Yarnable subscription from Hypnotic Yarns. It is one of her monthly boxes. I'm not sure which one. This colorway is called Mossy Hollow, and the blue colorway is called Pollen Party. I'm pretty sure this probably came from spring. Maybe this came from fall. I've had the subscription for 2 years and not even sure if it was 2023 or 24. But anyway, just practicing color changes and working along on the cuff of my second sock. So I can have those done for the pair, and then I have to decide which colorway next from my Yarnable subscription that I'd like to use. I've got, several that I just, they were sent to my parents while I was in South Africa. And so I obviously didn't do anything with them the month I got them, because at different times when we would go and visit, it was like Christmas. Sometimes it was during Christmas, but it was like Christmas, opening up all these Yarnable boxes, like 5 or 6 at a time. And so, I have a lot of skeins to choose from, or hanks to choose from, and not sure. I may make my daughter another pair, my husband another pair. I want to make my son a pair. He hasn't seemed interested, but I'm hoping if I make him a pair, he'll love them and maybe want me to make more of them, because I don't want to just make them for me. I do like to make things for family and friends. And so, so working on that. I am hoping to get this one finished before October is done. As I said, I knit very slowly, but I'm hoping to get it finished. I would love to get it finished within a week and start a new sock. Mariette does put out her own patterns, sock patterns every year. She puts a special one out for Socktober, and I would love to try one of her patterns. Now that I am changing yarn colors, I would love to try one of her patterns. And I know I don't have to only try it in October, but it would be fun to at least get started with one of her patterns and put it up, because we do communicate through a group on Instagram and share pictures of our progress. And I'd love to be able to say, hey, I'm making one of Mariette's socks. So anyway, that is my whip, one of my whips. I am going to start my project for the Bougie Crochet Wearable. It is Olga Poltava's pattern. It's just called the Oversized Sweater, and it will be linked below. I have it linked. I'll put a link here to the Bougie Crochet Wearable video, but I will also put everything in this description box below since I am mentioning her. I would love for you all to join me in making this sweater now that winter is coming along. I think it's coming along quickly here in Middle Tennessee. My husband just said that next week, one day he saw, I forgot what day he told me it was going to be, but there's going to be a day that's going to get down to in the 30s, and the high will only be in the 50s. And so with winter approaching, I really want to get that sweater started. I do still have to wind hanks by hand, and I am holding 2 yarns together, so I've got to roll up 2 hanks before I can actually get started. So that is on the agenda for this week, probably tomorrow, getting those yarn balls wound up so that I can get started on that project. I call it a whip. Maybe actually it's in the plans, but who knows? I may, when I'm done videoing this, start winding those hanks up into balls. So the last work in progress, and I've been working really hard on it this week because I'm actually a week behind. On Tuesday, Anita, Made by Anita, put up the second week to her Gift of Christmas 2024 crochet along. It is a blanket, and every square is a picture of a gift. And so this first week, you make 8 squares, mixing the colors of yarn to make 8 squares or 8 gifts. And so each square looks like a gift. It's a granny square, and then a really cute, neat way of putting a bow on the gift. And then every square, every gift will be bordered by this white. So I'll go through everything with you. Let me give you all the details. She has partnered with Black Sheep Wools. Both of them are in England. And Black Sheep Wools has put out this yarn called Windy, and it is a DK weight, 100% acrylic, very soft. This shade is WD51, light aqua. This shade is light aqua, but it is a very soft DK weight yarn. And there are 2 color palettes. One is traditional Christmas and one is retro. And you don't have to. The patterns actually are free. You go to her website. She also does a tutorial for each square on her YouTube channel. You don't have to buy the yarn from Black Sheep Wools to join into this make along. It is going to produce a beautiful blanket that I will put a picture of here so you can see it. And I just think I'm so excited about having this done. The last week of the make along is the week of November 5th. So, you know, I'm a week behind. I'm hoping to catch up, but I am a week behind. But I will still, if I just stay a week behind, be able to finish the blanket in November and have it displayed all of December. So it's not too late to join in. Take the color palette that you can find on her website or at Black Sheep Wools, which I will link below. If you are in Europe or in England, you probably can get the yarn fairly quickly. It is very decently priced. For me, the cost of shipping was almost as much as the yarn itself. And so the yarn is a very good price. And as I said, it is very soft. It is a really wonderful acrylic yarn. And so this is 100-gram ball, and it is approximately 295 meters or 322 yards on the ball, a DK weight, and Windy Supreme. So I chose the retro colorway, and I have, as you can see, I have written this. I have labeled every color because in her pattern she says you do use color A, color D, color C, and so I have labeled them, and I just slip the ball band. They did not, I knew if I was going to pull out the center, it would be a lot of barf. And so I have not pulled from the center, so I just slip the sleeve off and slip it back on when I am finished with that color. But this one is light aqua. It is color D. And this one is eucalyptus. It is color C. Very pretty. Color A, which is the border around every square, is cream. I knew it was not a white. It's an off-white. Cream. Color B is aster. And then those are the colors I haven't gotten to with my squares. But there are more colors. So there's color I, which is raspberry. Color H, which is Barbie pink. Color H. Barbie pink. Color G, beautiful red is the name. And it is beautiful red. Color F is called mustard. Very much a mustard color. Color E. Color E is pistachio. I love pistachios. So there's color E. So those are the colors. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fun colors. And then there is the cream. And basically I was sent one skein of each of the colors and then 4 skeins of the cream for the border. And so, yeah, so check her channel out. Like I said, look at her color palette that she puts on her website. Join in. You don't have to use DK. You don't have to use these exact colors. You can use a worsted weight. You need 1 skein of each color and 4 skeins of the border color. Because not only will it go around the border of each square, it will also go around the whole blanket when it's finished. So let me show you the squares. I have done 6 so far. So there's 1. Let's grab all the way down here. 2, 3, 4, mustard and red, mustard and ketchup, 5, and my 6th one. So I've got 6 of these squares done and 2 more to go, and then I can start on week 2. So I think I will finish the 2 up, and then hopefully as I catch up, then I can just do a couple of squares a day. Because I mean, I have really been concentrating on getting these squares done and getting caught up. I got my yarn the day I put out my video, which was Friday or Thursday, either late Thursday, early Friday last week. And she put out week 2 this past Tuesday. So I've been really working on the weekend, trying to catch up so that I can get to week 2 and maybe get caught up before she puts out the new pattern for week number 3, the new gift. So yeah, that I will be talking about this project for the rest of the month through November as I keep working on it and getting my gift of Christmas blanket for 2024 done. So that has been quite fun. So let's move on quickly to upcoming plans. All right, upcoming plans. Our church is doing a fall festival, and I am not a huge Halloween person. I heard somebody, I forgot who I was watching, and they were talking about how they were a scaredy cat, and I am too. I don't watch horror films. I don't mind a good murder mystery, but I just don't like horror. and death and all of that. And so I'm not I don't decorate for Halloween kind of thing, but I do love candy corn. Yes, I'm keto or Banting, low carb, no sugar, but I love candy corn. And in my kitchen, this will tell you a lot about me. In my kitchen, in a jar that's not see-through, it's opaque, I have candy corn. And I eat about 2 to 3 pieces a day through October. And that's it. Because actually we have been doing this low carb thing for so long that when I do overdo carbs, I feel awful, and I don't want to feel awful. So that's part of it. But part of it is I am pretty strong-willed and have great willpower when it comes to food. And so anyway, I love a good candy corn. So for our fall festival, now let's get back around to the fall festival, I'm going to make a candy corn hat. Because if it is going to be in the 30s and the 50s and still that low, by the time we get to Halloween, I want to have my head covered. So I found some yarn that I brought back from South Africa that is orange. This one's Charity. This one is Poolskein. They're both, I think they're both, well, no, this is made by the company L, and Charity is the company for this one. This is the color Citrus, and this is the color White. And I went today, I went to Walmart and looked, but they had a couple of yellows, but they were 4 weight, and these are both being from South Africa. They're both DK weight. But then I ran by Hobby Lobby. They're not having their sale. They're not even having their normal 30% off. But I did pay the $2.49, but I got this color. So this is, I love this yarn. It is Super Soft Savings Sport Weight. Now it says sport weight, but technically it's a DK weight, which is a 3 weight yarn. Sport weight is really considered a 2 weight yarn. So they call it sport weight, but actually where they have marked the label, it does say it is a 3 weight, which is DK. And so with this, you'll see it next week, I'm sure. I am going to make a candy corn hat to wear for Fall Festival, or to wear in the month of October, if it really is going to be that cold. So would love to know, I'm trying to figure out what pattern I should make for this candy corn hat. I thought about knitting, but I am a slow knitter. I need to concentrate on my sock. So I was thinking I should crochet a hat. I'm kind of wanting one where the brim turns up, but I don't know. If y'all have any great suggestions for a hat pattern that would make a good candy corn hat, would love to hear your suggestions on that. Last upcoming plans, I am putting the final touches on getting my website going for tech editing. So I hope to have my freelance business up and running really soon, helping crochet designers, whether it's amigurumi, it is hats, scarves, other wearables, or blankets, baskets, whatever it is. I really want to help designers get good quality patterns out there and really do well in their business of designing and selling patterns. And so I'm excited about that. You can, if you are a designer, you meet a designer, you can suggest my name to them, I would appreciate it. On my website, I will have how to get in touch with me and some information on what a tech editor is, what they do, and why they are important to designers, whether that's knit or crochet. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that. So that's it. I told you it was going to be fairly short because I have really been concentrating on that gift of Christmas make-along for 2024 or crochet along. And so that has just been what's been on my hook and what's been getting a lot of love and attention from me. And so anyway, we're going to move on, but thank you for hanging out with me this far. And we're going to move into our Bible study. So I have been reading from 1 Samuel. I have just started. I shared last week about reading from 1 Samuel chapter 1. And I want to share with you what I have read from 1 Samuel chapter 2. So this is from the second half of chapter 2 after Hannah gives birth to Samuel and then weans him and takes him and leaves him in the temple. The first part of chapter 2 is a beautiful praise song from Hannah. And then we get a glimpse into Samuel at the temple and what is going on with the priest Eli and his two sons. So I'm going to give you just a short summary. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm going to give you a short summary of what's happening and a couple of verses that I want to highlight and just what I have learned as I've kind of meditated and thought about this part of chapter 2. So Samuel is now with Eli, and he has two sons. They are Levites. So God chose the tribe of Levi and set them apart to work and take care of the temple. They took care of all the elements in the temple that made up the temple, from the poles to the curtains to all the different elements like the table and the lampstand, and to also make the sacrifices, to go in once a year. I think it is once a year. One of the Levite priests would be chosen to go into the holiest of holies and just ask God to forgive him and all of Israel for their sin. And so it was a big, huge responsibility, but also a great honor. And there were rules and regulations that God set aside that the Levites needed to follow. And some of that had to do with what portion of the sacrifices they were allowed to eat, because they were not given land, and so their sustenance, God took care of them through the sacrifices the people made by providing and telling them, this is what you can have. When people bring, just kind of like we do today in the church with giving tithes and offerings, it goes to paying for things in the church, but it also pays for the salary of those that work in the church for our spiritual good. And Eli's two sons were abusing their privilege of eating what God set aside and told them they could eat. And they were taking advantage, and they were disobeying God. They were also committing sexual sin, and God was very, very angry with them. so angry that he sent someone to confront Eli. Because Eli basically told his sons, you're not doing the right thing. You're disobeying God. You shouldn't be doing that. But Eli didn't punish them. He didn't remove them from their duties. He just kind of scolded and moved on. And so a man came in and confronted Eli. So the man of God came to Eli, speaking for the Lord, said this to him. This is 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 28. Out of all the tribes of Israel, I chose your house to be my priest, to offer sacrifices on my altar, to burn incense, and to wear an ephod in my presence. I also gave your forefathers' family all the Israelite fire offerings. Why then do you despise my sacrifices and offerings that I require at the place of worship? And then he says to Eli, this is the Lord speaking, you have honored your sons more than me. And then earlier when they were talking about, when this chapter was talking about Eli's sons and the evil they were doing, it said in verse 26, by contrast, the boy Samuel grew in stature and in favor with the Lord and with people. And I think really what stood out for me is that here you have a temple. You have a group of people who have the privilege of taking care of the temple. They work in the church. I think Eli did a great job. He honored God, but he did not raise up his sons to do the same. And so within the temple, you had Eli doing a wonderful job, leading the people, helping them be spiritually right with God, and his two sons were the opposite. And then you have Samuel, who was also in contrast to these two sons. In church today, I got to thinking, we have people like that. We are not perfect. Just because we are followers of Christ, we are not perfect. And not everybody in church is actually a true follower of Christ. God knows their hearts. We don't judge whether they are saved or not, whether they are Christians or not. But so many people, I believe, let those who say they are Christians and behave badly like Eli's two sons determine who Jesus is. And I just beg you, don't let people in the church determine who Jesus is. Even those that are true followers, because we mess up. Now, we try to do what's right. We want to do what's right. We want to follow and be obedient. We know God has forgiven us, and that means that we don't get to just act any way we want to act. But sometimes we do. Sometimes we are still sinful and act like humans, selfish humans. And I pray that if you have been hurt by people in the church, if maybe in the future you might be hurt by people in the church, even people that work in the church, don't let them tell you that that is who Jesus is. Their actions do not mirror the actions of Jesus. Jesus is perfect. And Christianity is all about a relationship with a perfect God who paid the price for our selfishness, for our pride, for our look at me attitude, do it my way attitude. He paid the price. And when God looks at us, those who follow him, he sees Jesus. But we are still living on earth as humans and we still mess up. Yes, when we sin, when we mess up, when we are selfish, God is faithful and just. He's faithful because of what Jesus did, and he is just to forgive us of our sin. But please don't let any hurt within the church determine who Jesus is to you. Get to know Jesus through his word. And yes, we need each other. We need to hold each other accountable for our actions. That is what the body of believers does. That's what the church does. But we don't determine by our actions who Jesus is. Our actions show how much we love him, but they don't determine who he is. And so I just want to encourage you that if you have gone away from church, if you have been hurt by people that profess to be Christians, to follow Jesus, that you would go back to God's word, that you would go here, and that you would read about Jesus in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Get to know Jesus the Savior, Yahweh, the Lord God Almighty, the one true God, who sent his Son to die for your sins, to pay the price because he loves you. Get to know him through his word. I hope that's an encouragement to you, and I hope that for those of you that love Jesus, know him, that you stay committed to being in his word, and for those of you that have just given up church, that it would encourage you to go back to God's word and get to know Jesus better. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you next week in our next video. It should be a bougie crochet wearable video that I will put out next. So y'all have a great day. Bye-bye, y'all.